Hi, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm a programmer here at Puff. First off, I just want to say thank you to Fest for putting out all the fires that we experienced earlier. It was a little rough, but we pulled through. We are here tonight with Madhu, the director and writer of Death Offers Life, The Last Days of Vincent van Gogh, which just streamed in our internationals block. Madhu, it's really great to have you here.
Matt, one correction. I am the writer and producer of the movie. I am not the director.
Not the director. I'm sorry, writer and producer.
Okay.
How are you doing tonight?
Fine, thanks.
Great. It's really nice to have you here. So I really loved the film myself and really got a lot out of it. And I have several questions for you that I hope that you'll be able to answer for both myself and the Puff family that we have. Before the film began, you credit Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam as an inspiration for the film. What was his contribution to this?
Actually, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was not the inspiration for this film, but for the book from which the story came. That is, he was the inspiration for my writing. When I sent one of my books to him, when he was the President of India, he responded to me with a letter saying that it was a poetry book. He liked a poem named Mother in that book very much. That was a great inspiration to me, a letter coming to an ordinary person from the President of India. And he sent it in his personal capacity, not as a president, but his personal capacity on his letterpad. That was a great inspiration. It was reported in one of the leading newspapers here. What I got from that was a great fuel and energy for my writing. That's what I mentioned. That's why I mentioned Abdul Kalam's name in the beginning.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate that. So in the beginning of the film, you use the motif of barking dogs to illustrate Van Gogh's madness. And I was wondering why you picked dogs for any particular reason.
The story begins with the line that Van Gogh was in his bed and he was having a bad sleep with some bad dream, that he was being chased by dogs and he was running to escape from them. And he suddenly falls in a ditch, and that's how he wakes up, hearing a bang or something like that when he falls. So the director took that thing from the story and he put it on the movie like this. What he visualized was like this.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. In the film, we have the personification of death who shoots Vincent, setting up Vincent's demise to be that of suicide. In your opinion, as the writer, did Vincent really want to die, or was he just merely sick of living?
What we get about Van Gogh is some hearsay, what someone said about him during that time. And after 100 years, when we view the net, I read somewhere that Van Gogh's body had a bullet in it. So either he should have shot himself or someone else should have shot him. But when we look at his life, his failure and poverty and madness, and we can assume that he should have shot himself. It was an attempt to suicide, but he died 2 days later. The gunshot was in his stomach, something like that. He didn't die at that time, but later went to a hospital, and 2 days later was his death.
So you've done a lot of research for this film on Van Gogh.
Pardon?
So you have done a lot of research on Van Gogh for this film, is that correct?
Whoever saw this, I've given some good opinions No one has said it is lacks something or like that. Everyone is saying that it's good or very good, and it is a great encouragement for us. We are not failed in this film.
Okay. So my next question still has to do with the personification of death. In the film, he mentions that people either see him as dressed in white or dressed in black based on their inner quality. What inner quality does Vincent have that ensures that he's viewing death as white? You know, what is the quality that he has?
Actually, death feels pity for him and says to him that you have done nothing wrong. That means Vincent was a person who didn't hurt others, or he was a good man, basically a good man who, with his resources, he might not have been able to help others, but also he didn't harm others. So just he might have been a good person. That's why death is giving him this appreciation. You have done no wrong in your life.
Makes sense. Absolutely. When Vincent, takes the final offer that death offers him, to come to leave all his paintings behind and go with him. One of Vincent's when he's deciding upon the decision, one of his quotes is, "An artist's mother dies even before he is born, and then he grows up as an orphan." And I found that to be a very profound line, and I was hoping you could explain kind of what it means.
Matt, you are the second person asking me this question. First one was my wife. When she asked this, I said to her that I shall tell a reply, but you won't be getting the meaning of it. You will be asking me more questions. Anyway, when I told her, she didn't ask me anything later. I don't know if she understood it or what. See, Matt, an artist, what I see is an artist is not made. An artist is born. Art is a medium which makes some people do things as it wishes. Art wants to give a message to men. The basic purpose of art is what I see as to make a better man. So for this purpose, art creates people. It brings them out to the world as artists itself. They are not learning life, as Pasternak has said. Man is born to live, not to prepare for life. So same thing for the artist, that he is born to write or to paint or to sculpt. Many purposes, many types of art are there. So when he is born as an artist, and by the time he come to the earth, he sees a world where he cannot breathe, or if he is a fish, he is out of water, or all type of problems begin with his life. When he becomes aware of himself, itself, unknowingly, he is thinking. It's later on, about 10, 20, 30 years later, he'll understand that he is something. He is different. He is not thinking like others. So he talks to himself and he writes it down, or paints it down, or make a statue out of it, thinking or something like that. So he is born to art, not to a father or a mother. He's born to art. Art creates him.
I like that.
The most loving being a person has when he's born is his mother. But in the case of artist, he is somewhat confused. Even before he can think, he is confused.
Right. Thank you. That's great. Great explanation. I love that. I'm going to go to our question and answer box here. We have a few questions before 8 o'clock rolls around. We have two questions about the lighting in this film and the cinematography. And you know, I mean, this might be a question that's better suited to the director, but you know, I myself noticed a lot, you know, these of yellow overtones that kind of matched the Van Gogh sunflowers painting. You know, were you happy with the mood and the lighting that the director chose, and how much was your influence on that?
Sayyid Abbas is the director of this movie. He has done a wonderful job. When I gave him some suggestion, I gave him the story and he gave me a budget. I asked him that you should give me a good product. We should get a good art product from it. Let us not think of the money, but we should make a good film. And I gave him some suggestion like the picture quality and like something like that, comparing to some Spanish films. So he brought in a photographer who was in the Malayalam industry, and that decision of him was the game changer of this movie. They decided to shoot the movie in candlelight. No power was used. The room was full of candles, and that made the difference. That atmosphere, that ambience created by the photographer and the instruction given by the director made the film what it is. In my view, it is magnificent film, a fantastic film, and I am very happy about it.
Yeah, it looked phenomenal. We have another question. Is there a tradition of anthropomorphic representation of death in Indian culture?
Pardon?
Is there a tradition of anthropomorphic representation of death in Indian culture?
Oh, tradition of death means what? In the end, the wages of sin. That is what we get in the end. So if a person is good, the death comes to him as a friend. He won't fight with death. He may go with death willingly because he has had a fruitful life, or at least he has not done any harm to any person. When the person is not like that, if he has done wrong, if he has harmed other person, actually he will fight with death. Let me get another opportunity. I shall do good things hereafter. But he may not get the chance. Death will take him by the neck. Not the one offering his hand and taking Vincent with him, but by catching him by the neck, and it will take life out of the body.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.
And we have one more question coming in from Maria, and I think this will be our last one since we're running out of time a little bit. But Matthew, do you have a favorite Van Gogh painting of all of them?
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite Van Gogh painting?
Favorite? Friend. I couldn't catch you.
Do you have a favorite painting by Van Gogh?
Painting?
Yes.
One painting is mentioned as favorite to Van Gogh. That is Almond Blossom. Mm-hmm. He drew it for his brother, Theo Van Gogh's son. Theo Van Gogh has named his son Vincent. So he was a favorite to Van Gogh, who carried his own name, his nephew carrying his own name. That is a favorite picture of Van Gogh. For us, I think the most favorite picture of me is Potato Eaters. You can see the hunger in the people's face, and that yellow light, and that's a haunting picture. Every
Great.
4 or 5 hours we experience hunger and we need food.
Great. Thank you so much. Well,
Okay.
we have run out of time. It is 8 o'clock. It's time to bring in our locals shorts block. But I will be back at 9:25 tonight with Ron Williams, director of The Contestant, which is in our locals block tonight. Matthew, I can't thank you enough for joining us. You're joining us from India, is that correct?
Right.
Right.
From
Yeah.
India.
So what time is it there?
Now here is 5:30 a.m.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for
Good
getting
morning.
up
Good
early
morning.
and joining us in Philadelphia. Really appreciate that.
Okay.
Again, my name is Matt. I'm a programmer here at Puff. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys later.